The details of my work have been to look at not only what are the premier things that we would like to become, but more importantly, how do we engage a whole planet in this activity? Only half of the people on planet Earth right now have a real job, meaning from 8 to 5, completely busy, tired when you get home. There are the kids, there are the elders. There are the veterans, there are the union people, there are all of the armies, navies, air forces, and marines. So if we want to make this new connection with nature, why don't we use people we're already paying, already feeding, already housing, already equipping, have all the computers, and by the way, being a former 20-year veteran of the American Army, I can tell you without a doubt they have the finest service ethic of any organization on planet Earth. And knowing officers from 50 different countries, I know that their service ethic is pretty much the same. So let me walk through what would happen if the whole planet got activated at this point. Let's take the elders. Retirees, seniors, they have the most original contact with farming probably of any generation alive. Like in Europe, our new villages can be sprinkled with botanical forests, botanical entranceways, botanical gardens, basically enter each world through floral design, a floral age created by elders. Let's take retired veterans. They have a sense of organization, task organization, energy, and communications. Let's let them go into the countryside and reestablish green source centers around the edges of all the small farms. Let's let them nobly restore the small farm. Thomas Jefferson said America in its best state would be a country of small farms. And in the Green Source Center, somewhere in the midst of, say, 20 farms, there's a cafe and a tavern, place to eat breakfast, mulch, chipping, soil emollients, a tractor for rent, chipper for rent, maybe a cooler, and the small then players will come to life again. And that's not all that will happen, but that's a really great job for the vets, and we can call them the Natural Guard at this point. Then let's look at, say, union workers. These are people who had technical skills, but that will happen more profoundly by 2012 than anyone wants to imagine. There are people now who are bringing through information from other parts of this galaxy daily. Not from just one source, but from a number of sources. And if they actually were told they were doing that, then they would notice. But mostly they just think, oh, I just get these strange ideas. You can't know you're doing something until it's labeled. I was in combat for 9 months, and 319 straight days I moved like a stealth machine with 60 other airborne paratroopers. And because we were always likely to be ambushed, guess what? Our sensory apparatus reached out, and it went through trees, and it went a half a mile. We were all psychic at that point. But until somebody said, oh, remote viewing is an idea, nobody knew what we were doing. We just said, oh no, let him go first. He really helps. Because when you put the psychic guy in the back of the file, he goes crazy because he knows something's up front but can't get to me, the commander. So in Vietnam, we learned that everybody can remote view. After Vietnam, as part of an experiment I introduced into the Army, we learned that you can go halfway around the planet in your psyche, in your psychic bundle, and hear things, see things, feel things, depending on what your skill level is. And as such, the Army took a huge leap at that point in time, and that was partly what the Men Who Stare at Goats movie was making fun of in a fine way. Men love to be roasted by cool men, and I felt very roasted in this case. But it's time to open everybody up to the fact that we multi-channel all the time. You are psychically gifted already. You can do remote viewing already. You just have to fool to the dials and switches till you get there. So where that leaves me is the armies can, in their own respective areas, not run by some Teutonic bald-headed guy like we're all afraid of that'll take over, restore the forests. The United Nations, using Army forces now, has planted 4 billion trees. By the end of 2010, there will be 7 billion trees, one for every planet. So militaries are great. Add to that the high school kids from a pure planting point of view, and we can kick that total up in a huge way. The armies also have been, in America especially, responsible for clean water and waterways and canals and dams. And of course they got into a lot of kerfuffles about nature because we didn't really think much about nature in those days. But none of the dams have fallen down and none of the bridges have fallen down. So they did the job they were supposed to do, civil engineering. They also put trout in the streams in the Yosemite Park and build pathways. That's properly the role of the Army. They have the equipment for that. They have the maps, the training. The Navy, control over fishing. It's out of control. We talk a lot about it. It's not policed. Pick up the junk in the Pacific Ocean and other places. Most of that styrofoam can be recycled and should be. The Marines have equipment to operate along the shorelines. Give them the coral reefs and the inland waterways to clean up, take care of. And finally, the Air Force has all of the sensors from the sky in satellite form and aircraft form to track the pollution of the whole planet, send maps down, put them on public television, and everybody will know who's making the mess and who isn't. And that Air Force also will be able to launch refugee aircraft villages within 4 hours, and that's already been prototyped out in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, to be able to respond to oceans that rise, oil that depletes, all the kinds of little emergencies we're likely to have in the next several years. So there is an unbelievably clear, cogent match for using militaries to restore the biosphere. And we should get them started on that soon. And by the way, the public is going to have to do that because the defense industries are not going to be too excited about that. And I worked in 10 defense industries, and every single one of them, when I asked them what their higher purpose was, couldn't wait to answer the question. They're not evil people. They just want to keep their establishment in order because they are their villages and their tribes. So let's thank them for what they did in the last century. And in every case where I said to them, okay, let's get out of the box on this a little bit, in every case we found a solution. Like, guess what? Oil tankers can carry fresh water. Oil companies are not just oil companies, they're liquid transportation companies. So paradigm shifts now exist for every single industry probably out there. So if there's any huge revelation I want to give you right now, all the pieces are in place. All the publics are in place. Everybody has to play this game. There is a job for everybody. Let's get started. Let's beat the ancestors. Let's have this paradise thing rolling before they land, and the party will be a lot better. Please see more if you want to on the firstearthbattalion.org or click on my name, Jim Channon, on YouTube, and the details of much of what I've explained will be available to you. And I more than welcome your participation. Take the big idea I've given you, organize yourself locally, don't ask for help, figure out what you can do and get started.